When nearly 400,000 German prisoners of war arrived at American detention camps during World War II, they came expecting starvation and brutality. Instead, they encountered unprecedented abundance. This is the remarkable story of how American prosperity, expressed through ice cream and soft drinks, transformed the worldview of enemy soldiers and delivered one of the war's most effective ideological victories. Between 1943 and 1946, approximately 371,683 German prisoners of war were held in American camps. They came from every branch of the military: Afrika Korps veterans, Wehrmacht soldiers, Luftwaffe pilots. Many had experienced intense combat and were malnourished and exhausted. When they arrived in America, they expected harsh conditions based on Nazi propaganda that portrayed Americans as weak and decadent. Nothing could have prepared them for reality. The Geneva Convention required adequate food, shelter, and medical care. Upon arrival, prisoners received food rations superior to American soldiers in the field. Breakfast included eggs, bacon, and toast. Lunch featured roasted chicken and fresh bread. Dinner included beef and vegetables. For German soldiers accustomed to thin soup and minimal protein during wartime, this was incomprehensible abundance. But the most shocking aspect was access to luxury foods they had never tasted. Ice cream became the most profound symbol of this abundance. American ice cream production had continued throughout the war, and every major prison camp had ice cream available. Prisoners could purchase ice cream sundaes with toppings for a few cents. For men who had not seen ice cream in years, this cold, sweet dessert represented something almost magical. Testimony after testimony mentions ice cream. Men who had survived brutal combat found themselves overcome by ice cream sundaes, not from sadness, but from overwhelming abundance. Coca-Cola played an equally significant role. Before the war, it was available only to the wealthy in Germany. During wartime, it disappeared entirely. American soldiers had access at military canteens. Through military supply systems, Coca-Cola reached prison camps. For just 5 cents, prisoners could purchase ice-cold Coca-Cola. This carbonated beverage represented American industrial achievement and consumer abundance. Prisoners realized that in America, even prisoners of war could afford luxuries unavailable to German civilians throughout the entire war. Chocolate bars presented another revelation. American chocolate was available in camp commissaries. Many prisoners sent American chocolate packages to families through the Red Cross. These packages represented proof that enemies could feed prisoners better than Germany could feed its own civilians. The Nazi narrative of German superiority collapsed under the weight of a chocolate bar. Fresh milk, vegetables, and fruits contributed to this transformation. Canned fruits, luxuries in Germany, appeared on mess cables. Turkey and ham appeared on Thanksgiving and Christmas. Prisoners gained between 20 and 30 pounds during internment. Their uniforms had to be altered. Medical records show this weight gain contradicted Nazi ideology. German soldiers, supposedly members of a master race, were thriving on American abundance. Camp canteens where prisoners could purchase additional items became centers of ideological transformation. For small sums, prisoners bought candy, cookies, and soft drinks. The existence of these canteens contradicted Nazi propaganda about American weakness. In Germany, rationing was severe. Here, prisoners of war could purchase luxuries. Officers recognized the ideological significance of this abundance. Some deliberately allowed access to these foods as psychological rehabilitation. The theory was straightforward: show prisoners American prosperity and Nazi ideology would collapse. This strategy proved remarkably effective. Dedicated National Socialists began questioning their beliefs. Prisoners requested political education, wanting to understand American democracy. Abundance became soft power more effective than propaganda. When prisoners were repatriated after the war, they carried memories of American abundance. They described ice cream to families who had never tasted it. They explained that American soldiers ate better than German soldiers. These testimonies contradicted Nazi propaganda and contributed to Germany's post-war re-education. The Marshall Plan was more readily accepted by Germans who had heard from returned prisoners about American production capacity and generosity. Historical records, particularly from scholars like Arnold Krammer, who extensively studied the German POW experience, document this phenomenon comprehensively. Military archives contain thousands of accounts from prisoners describing shock at American abundance. Red Cross reports noted psychological transformation in camps with access to additional foods. Letters home, monitored and preserved, show prisoners abandoning Nazi ideology and expressing admiration for American organization and prosperity. American prison camps were significantly more humane than in other nations. While not perfect, they adhered to Geneva Convention requirements and often exceeded them. Prisoners received medical care, religious services, and educational opportunities. The humane treatment, combined with abundant food, created environments where ideological transformation was possible. German soldiers taught that America was weak and decadent came face to face with evidence of American strength and productivity. They experienced this through eating ice cream and drinking Coca-Cola. The abundance was not presented as propaganda, but as normal reality. This authenticity made it more persuasive than deliberate propaganda campaigns. The story of German POWs and American abundance represents one of World War II's most unusual victories. It was not achieved through military conquest, but through demonstration of prosperity and humane treatment of enemies. When prisoners were turned home, they carried recognition of American strength and questioned the ideology that led to war. A chocolate bar, an ice cream sundae, and Coca-Cola bottle became more effective against Nazi ideology than bombs and tanks. This soft power victory had lasting implications for the post-war world and influenced Germany's acceptance of democratic reconstruction.